Ethiopia, a landlocked country in East Africa, holds a unique place in human history. It is often referred to as the cradle of humankind due to the discovery of the oldest hominid fossils ever found. This ancient land is endowed with a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions reflecting its long and storied past. Ethiopia boasts a diverse landscape, from the rugged Simien Mountains to the fertile plains of the Rift Valley. The Ethiopian highlands, often called the Roof of Africa, dominate the western part of the country. These highlands are the source of the Blue Nile, a major tributary of the Nile River which flows northwards to Egypt and Sudan, sustaining life and livelihoods along its course. The Blue Nile is not just a geographical feature, it is the lifeblood of the region, shaping the destinies of nations for millennia. The Nile River, with its source in the Ethiopian highlands, has been a source of life, a route for trade, and a cradle of civilizations. Beyond its historical and cultural significance, Ethiopia possesses vast natural resources. The country is endowed with fertile land, abundant water resources, and a variety of minerals. Agriculture is the backbone of the Ethiopian economy, employing a significant portion of the population and contributing substantially to the country's GDP. Coffee, originating in the Ethiopian highlands, is a major export crop, contributing significantly to the global coffee industry. Other agricultural products such as teff, a staple grain in Ethiopian cuisine, and livestock are also important for the country's economy. Despite this enormous potential, Ethiopia remains one of the poorest countries in the world. The reasons for this paradox are complex and multifaceted, rooted in a combination of historical, political, and environmental factors. Ethiopia has long grappled with the challenges of poverty, hunger, and underdevelopment. A high population growth rate has strained resources and limited economic progress. Recurring droughts and other natural disasters have also hampered development efforts, leaving millions vulnerable to food insecurity. Political instability and internal conflicts have further compounded these challenges. The country has witnessed periods of authoritarian rule and civil unrest, diverting resources away from development priorities and creating an environment of uncertainty and fear. These factors have combined to create a vicious cycle of poverty and instability, hindering Ethiopia's ability to translate its vast potential into tangible progress for its people. In recent years, however, a new chapter has begun to unfold in Ethiopia's story, one marked by a bold vision for the future and a determination to harness its resources for the benefit of its people. At the heart of this new narrative stands the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, a symbol of Ethiopia's aspirations for development and prosperity. The Gurdi, when completed, will be the largest hydroelectric power plant in Africa, capable of generating over 6,000 megawatts of electricity. This ambitious project promises to transform Ethiopia's energy landscape, providing much-needed electricity to households, businesses, and industries across the country. The dam is expected to have a transformative impact on Ethiopia's economy, driving industrial growth, creating jobs, and improving living standards. It is a testament to Ethiopia's commitment to charting its own course towards sustainable development and becoming a regional powerhouse. Section 5. The Nile, a river of contention. However, the Gerd has also become a source of tension and mistrust between Ethiopia and its downstream neighbors, Egypt and Sudan. The Nile River, a lifeline for all three countries, has become a point of contention, highlighting the complexities of sharing transboundary water resources. Egypt, heavily reliant on the Nile for its water supply, has expressed concerns that the filling and operation of the Gerd could significantly reduce the flow of the Nile, impacting its agriculture, industry, and overall water security. The historical context adds another layer of complexity to the issue. Egypt, viewing the Nile as its lifeblood for millennia, has long asserted its historical rights to the river's waters based on colonial-era agreements that granted it significant control over the Nile's flow. Section 6. Egypt's concerns, water security, and historical rights. Egypt's concerns about the Gerd are rooted in its dependence on the Nile River for almost all its water needs. The country, located in one of the most arid regions on Earth, relies on the Nile for over 90% of its freshwater resources. Any significant reduction in the Nile's flow could have severe consequences for Egypt's water security, impacting its agriculture, industry, and the livelihoods of millions of Egyptians. The Nile Delta, a fertile agricultural region in northern Egypt, is particularly vulnerable to changes in the river's flow. The delta, home to a large portion of Egypt's population and agricultural production, relies on the Nile's annual floods to replenish its soil and sustain its crops. Moreover, Egypt's rapidly growing population and increasing water demands for agriculture, industry, and domestic use have further exacerbated its water stress. Climate change, with its potential to alter rainfall patterns and increase evaporation rates, adds another layer of uncertainty to Egypt's water future. Section 7. Sudan's position between a rock and a hard place. Sudan, situated between Ethiopia and Egypt, finds itself caught in the middle of this complex geopolitical equation. Sudan, like Egypt, is heavily reliant on the Nile River for its water needs, with the Blue Nile contributing a significant portion of its water resources. However, Sudan also stands to benefit from the Gerde in terms of increased access to electricity and flood regulation. The dam's hydroelectric power generation capacity could provide Sudan with a reliable and affordable source of energy, boosting its economic development. Sudan's position is further complicated by its own internal challenges, including political instability, economic woes, and inter-ethnic conflicts. These challenges have limited Sudan's capacity to effectively engage in the Gerde negotiations and secure its interests. Section 8. The need for cooperation and mutual understanding. The Gerde saga underscores the urgent need for regional cooperation and mutual understanding in managing transboundary water resources. The Nile River, a shared resource, has the potential to be a source of cooperation and shared prosperity rather than conflict and mistrust. A cooperative approach based on dialogue, transparency, and a shared vision for the future is essential to address the concerns of all riparian states and ensure the equitable and sustainable utilization of the Nile's waters. Such an approach requires a shift in mindset from a zero-sum game, where one country's gain is seen as another's loss, to a win-win paradigm where cooperation and shared benefits are prioritized. Section 9. Towards a brighter future. Shared resources, shared prosperity. The Gerde, despite the challenges, presents a unique opportunity for Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan to forge a new path of regional cooperation and shared prosperity. By working together, these countries can transform the Nile River from a potential source of conflict into a powerful engine for sustainable development. This requires a comprehensive and inclusive approach that addresses the water needs and concerns of all three countries, while also respecting their respective rights and interests. A joint technical committee, comprising experts from all three countries, could be established to monitor the filling and operation of the Gerde and ensure that its impact on the Nile's flow is managed in a way that minimizes any potential harm to downstream countries. The international community also has a role to play in supporting these efforts by providing technical assistance, facilitating dialogue, and promoting a spirit of cooperation and understanding.